don't know. Do I look fat? I feel like I look fat these days.
No, you look thin.
Oh God. Okay,
No,
thank you.
look at that.
No,
Because I'm,
it's fluffy. I'm only wearing yoga pants these days.
or whatever, you look, no, you're nice and solid. You're also 20 or whatever. I'm nice, record all this. And I'm seriously, I want to do a podcast about that. Not a podcast, a video about that, but I'm going to be honest. All right, here we go.
Hey, hi.
Hi, Maryjane again, and I today am with my glorious friend, Mary Schafrath. Mary has been my assistant as a designer, now art director. Then she became my mother, my sister, my cousin, my everything. We're the bestest. And so I am interviewing Mary.
Hi.
Hi. I just want to go back with how we met. I was interviewing you, and you had this fabulous red lipstick. Now, I admit I am very attracted to beautiful people. And you had this great red lipstick on, and you were newly out of college. We talked about what you might be doing for me. At the time, I was a publication designer. And I said to you, well, we'll have to see how we get along, and I have to determine what I'm going to pay you. But let's see. And you said to me, the balls to say to me, well, let's not go steady yet. Let's just date a bit. Whoa!
It was my analogy to freelance. Yeah,
I just love your chutzpah. And then I asked what you would want per hour, and you came up with something that was years ago, like $35 an hour.
I think it was like $50 an hour.
No,
but this was like 14 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but also you were just out of school.
I was 22.
So this was great. But I loved your chutzpah, and I just thought, she's going to be good. And of course you went down, and we started working together, and we were a great team. But it was just such a great beginning.
Yeah, I think you were the first and only person I interviewed. We found each other on Craigslist.
Oh.
That's
how
how I
the
found
person?
You. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I had just moved here with a suitcase on my friend's couch, and I found you on Craigslist, or your assistant at the time found me, or we found each other on Craigslist.
Whoever that assistant was.
Yeah, all these things are so dated. It's like I returned the video to Blockbuster. Those are all oldie time words. So Craigslist. Yeah, and then I went in for that interview. It was hilarious. I felt like I was intimidated, but I didn't want to seem intimidated.
That's because I had equally red lipstick.
Yes, your lipstick was also impeccable. And then we brought up the money thing, and I think it was definitely $50 an hour.
Oh, it was incredible balls.
And I had nothing. I moved here with like a suitcase, and I had 2 pairs of shoes. One was like a pair of Birkenstocks, and the other was a pair of Danskos, which is like, need I say more? I was such a fucking country bumpkin.
But you didn't come off that way. But I also want to talk about our kind of instant bond. And I wonder if it has to do with this sisterhood. I come from 5 sisters. I also have a brother that we always forget. And you have 5 sisters?
I am one of 5 sisters.
Yeah,
I have 4 sisters.
Yeah. Do you think that has something to do? I think we just got each other. Yeah.
That was a huge step of it. A huge step for us because you had just gone through. Your sister Rini had passed.
Yes.
1 year prior.
Yes.
And so their anniversary had come up, and I'm like very new at this point. Like we just met each other like 5 days prior. And I remember you're on the phone with probably your sister Pam.
Yeah.
And
the phone's always ringing with sisters.
Oh my God. And it was just like sister after sister. And I'm like, and I'm in the room. I mean, we're like in a closet together. And it was just like, oh my God, this feels so familiar. Like my sisters and I are also like, as soon as something happens, it's just like, fuck, I gotta tell this story over and
over again with close sisters. And you're close too with all of yours.
Yeah.
We're really fortunate.
Yeah. But I feel like we got each other on that.
Yes.
That we come from a gaggle.
Yes.
And that your personality is shaped by the shaping of other personalities in your orbit.
It's true. But the thing about sisters, when you're lucky and you get along, is that I feel like I have built-in best friends.
Yeah.
Though I have other friends in the world, I am not, I don't need them.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way?
We've definitely chatted about that before, because I feel like we both had friends that were like only children.
Yes.
And it's a totally different thing.
Yes.
Like they want to be in that group, but no one is allowed in that group.
No,
like
not allowed.
I mean, you get honoraries that are allowed for a long weekend or for like whatever, but you don't get in the group, and so
That's funny.
You don't have this need to like seek out someone to fill this void
No.
because it's already filled.
No, and that's a big advantages. There are disadvantages. The phone's always ringing.
Yeah.
But other than that.
Or like you forget that you told one sister one thing and the other one not, and so
or
like,
if
oh
you
my god,
gossip about one and the other one hears,
God.
that's not good.
Like, why didn't she tell me she went in for a second mammogram this month? Like, what the fuck? Am I not important enough to know about that mammogram?
Or if whoever you're seeing misbehaves in front of one,
Ooh.
and then he's down, or she, whoever it is down and they're off the list.
Yeah.
And that's a hard one to recover from.
Yeah, partners, they can't fuck up with the sisters. The moment they do, it's over. And he's like, you've soiled yourself. You soiled yourself, and now you're going to smell like shit, or I'm going to have to kick you out of this house. It's just, I guys carry your dingleberry ass around to every other fucking long weekend with
It's
sisters. Okay.
Where
were we?
Yeah, risk. Okay.
Oh, risk.
Okay. So it's 2009. You're working with me. You were working with me, right?
We were
on a project.
Yes.
And
yes.
you took off for Peru. And I just love that you did that. You took a lot more risks in your life, but I just want to talk about risk taking because I've always admired your balls.
Yeah. That was like 2008. Oh, I was with Kenneth Cole. So we had just wrapped up a project. Okay. Kenneth Cole and I were dating at the time, and in our career analogy, and I decided to tell the creative director at like a holiday party that I bought a plane ticket to Peru and I'd be quitting, and he needed to give my job to the intern because she was great and I just needed to leave.
Well, what made you come to the conclusion you had to get out of town?
I felt like my career was happening and I wasn't ready for it. Like there was this whole expectation of like waking up every day at 7 o'clock in the morning and then putting on your face on and then going into the office and like doing all this work done.
Yes.
And like it was happening. It was like I was working with agencies and now I was working with Kenneth Cole Productions and I was an art director for them. And I just felt like there was all this stuff I wanted to do and all this travel and I wanted to speak Spanish and I wanted to be in a different country and I wanted to like fucking backpack, and if I didn't do it then when the fuck was I gonna do it?
I love that. Yes.
I had to do it then because I didn't want to be like at 5 years old and be like, oh, I never did this. And all these
that's
regrets.
good because I have to say that I had always put my career first. I'm not a person filled with regrets, but I either had a relationship in my way or my job in my way, and I never took off. I've traveled, but I've never taken off. What, you gone for a year?
Yeah.
That's great.
It's gone for like a year.
But tell me what you. This is where I admire. I don't like the word balls. It has to be clits. But the female equivalent, I want that. But also, what I also love about you is you went with it, man. You didn't always come back to some good news. You came back to some crazy shit.
Well, yeah, the fucking recession happened.
Yes.
Everything tanked. Like, I think, what was it, like 70% of all magazines folded the first year of the recession, and then after that it was like another, like, whatever, 300%. Like, it was just, like, gross. Like, there was no jobs left.
I know. And you came back to that.
Yeah. So it was like couch surfing, my shit was in storage forever. And my shit was in storage for, like, years. And it was just couch surfing.
Yeah.
And I just stayed on couches. I remember I was couch surfing when I became an art director for Cosmopolitan magazine, which was like fucking hilarious. I was homeless, and I would like ride my bike because I couldn't afford the fucking metro. I would ride my bike to Cosmopolitan, the Hearst Tower, and I'd take a shower in their glorious gym facility. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, all my shit on my backpack.
Yeah. So you're what at that point? How old?
Oh God, that would have been 2010. So that's 12 years, no, it's 10 years ago. I was 26. I was like 25, 26.
I remember one time, though, when you were away, I don't know exactly what country, and I was on a killer deadline when you rang me.
I was at the top of Machu Picchu.
I was so jealous, but I was on a deadline. I was so pissed off that I couldn't talk to you, but the art director was on the phone demanding someone, and we had this uptight conversation. And I realized, maybe that was one of the times that I realized I had to kind of change it around and me start taking those
I felt
chances.
so bad about that phone call. I was so elated, and I called you, and I was like at the top of Machu Picchu, and I was like, oh my god, it was like all epic and shit. And then I was like, Maryjane, at the top of Machu Picchu, oh my god, it's so beautiful. And you were like,
I know, terrible. Well, I'll tell you, I hate this word inspiration, but I am going to say, with luck and taking good care of this body and mind and soul, I got about 2 decades left, and I'm going to make up for any of that time that I may have. I mean, I love my career. It's really, I've taken a lot of risks in my career, and that's been great. But now I want to have a little more fuck off, see the world time. You taught me that.
Did I? I don't know. Well, because everywhere you go, you have like a gaggle of humans that love you. And so, like, we went to Spain together.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I've worked in a lot of different places.
Right.
And that's a different experience. But I like that you took, and I worked for 6 months in Italy, but I like that you didn't work and you just said, fuck it, I'm off.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be young to do that.
You really don't. I mean,
you need the clit.
Yeah, you just
I'm not saying the balls.
you need a really strong clit, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we should talk about our careers. We were both magazine designers. We're no longer doing that. And we're no longer doing that because magazines don't exist. Hardly.
Well, there's like 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in my day, which was, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, I guess. But I'm really talking about probably late 90s when it was so glamorous. And we had some good projects when we worked together, but the difference between my moment and your moment, tell me about your moment.
I mean, coming into New York and having you as a mentor and you as a first boss was such an interesting experience because it was like you were telling me stories about being on some spaceship that didn't exist anymore. Like, I came into it, it was just fucking sadness. Like, all these middle-aged women who had they had nothing.
You worked at mostly women magazines, right?
I did. No, I also worked at Architectural Digest. Oh, I don't know if this is bad to talk about in front. Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
Cosmopolitan magazine, that was all women. Food and Wine magazine, also very sad. Very sad. No budget, but they were mostly women too. The point is, no one had sex. No one had a lunch break. Everyone worked like every waking moment of every single day, terrified that they were going to lose their fucking job.
So based on fear. The day was based on fear.
All fear. No one even talked about what they did on the weekends for fear that if they seemed to have another life, that would make them seem like they weren't caring enough about this current job. It was fucking terrible.
Awful. Yes. I remember Norman Mailer being downstairs meeting with Madonna. I'm sticking it to you. Oh. Or I remember seeing JFK Jr. for a chat about George. It was an amazing time. I mean, life goes on, but that was the highlight in terms of my magazine career until I started my own. And we had some great accounts together, but it was just big budgets, great luncheons, a whole nother. I mean, I never touched a page. I would send it off to production.
Yeah, there's a saying now that nice is the new cool.
What does that mean?
I know, right? Well, actually, it's kind of nice because it is nice. It's nice is the new cool. It's basically like you get a lot further with your career by being nice to people than by being a cunt. Like when I was on the elevator with Anna Wintour. Oh God! Have you ever shared a space with her?
I have never shared.
She's like a black void.
Yes, I have heard this from everyone.
Like a black hole.
Yes.
She's sucking you in, like just horribly, and you can feel yourself get cold. And she's just nasty. Like everything about her vibe is nasty. And
by the way, she teaches a master class. Did you know that? About how to work a room, how to control the room. I don't want to hear from her.
I don't want to hear anything from her. She's like the last person I want to be when I grow up. She's terrifying.
Nice is the new cool.
Nice is the new cool. I think I read it on like some Facebook quote or something.
But I'm just going back in time about the projects that we had together. And that was when the economy was good. We did Tatler together, based in Asia. Spent the whole day at Gallagher's, which was a big, crazy magazine shop.
Yeah, in Union Square.
It's
now Nordstrom Rack.
Yes, it's gone like the magazine world.
It's all gone.
Jesus Christ, if this didn't work.
If this didn't work, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. All right, I'm gonna do it because I feel like maybe you're.
Yeah.